somebody has just called you an addiction enabler. Either directly or most likely they've just whispered it behind your back. But they have said it. It's out there. They're not saying that you cause the addiction. But what they are saying seems even worse to you. They are saying that if it was not for you, yes, your good God-loving self, your loved one who suffers from alcoholism or drug-related issues could have quit, has the capacity to quit, but you, yes, you are the one who enables them to stay in their addiction. A sense of indignation entirely engulfs you. Wametoa wapi nguvu? Where did they get the temerity to call you an enabler? How could they? For the love of God, you cannot figure out why somebody would say such a cruel thing about you. You mentally play out the various supportive roles you have played in the lives of people. You see yourself as that supportive spouse who is just helping your other half go through a tough patch in life. You see yourself as the loving parent who is just helping your kids navigate through some tough life situations. You see yourself as the dutiful and loyal friend. Your anger rises, your heart pounds. Every fiber in your being feels violated and offended by that word that they have called you. Your world goes dark. But in that darkness, one word continually screams out to you. Are you an enabler? Over and over the word keeps on resounding from the deepest recesses of your mind. So, want to find out if you're an enabler? Walk with me. By the end of this short clip, you will know one of two things. You will know whether you are an enabler or you are not, and people just have it wrong about you. I will just present facts and let you judge for yourself. I'm not going to be the judge on this. You be the judge. I will present you the facts. At the end, if you are an enabler, you will know what you can do to move from enabling the addict to empowering the addict. And if people just have it wrong about you and you're just a loyal and supportive person, kudos to you. Continue the good work. So, who is an addiction enabler? Or who is an enabler for that matter? Dictionary defines an enabler is somebody whose behavior allows a loved one to continue in their own self-destructive patterns of behavior. I will repeat. An enabler is a person whose behavior allows a loved one to continue in their own self-destructive patterns of behavior. Most of us don't enable knowingly. No, we are unwitting enablers. So I just want to ask you a few quick questions. And from your answers to these questions, you can begin to get a clearer picture of whether you are enabling or not. So for example, are you shielding the addict from the consequences of their bad choices? They rarely make any good choices anyway, but do you continually shield them from the consequences of their choices? For example, do you constantly make excuses for this addict? Are you the one who calls in sick to work for your spouse to say they are sick and cannot make it to work, very well knowing they are still in bed, reeling from last night's hangover after their binge drinking? Do you pay the addict's bills? Do you pay or finance their rent? Do you clothe them? Do you buy their clothes? Are you the one who is doing the worrying for them? For example, if you are doing all of these things, what do you leave the addict to do? If you pay rent, you pay for food, you pay for clothing, you've basically met the 3 basic needs of a human being. What does this addict do with whatever little resources that they can get their hands onto? They will run to their drug of choice. Are you the people who constantly avoid conflict at all and any costs? Whenever this issue about this addiction comes up and the addict's temper flares up a little bit, you back off. You want to avoid conflict at all costs in order to, quote unquote, keep the peace. May I ask you, what peace are you keeping? Even worse, and I'm speaking to parents here, especially mothers, is the act of hosting the addict in your own house. I may sound cruel, but please note, these are no longer your little princes and princesses who you treated as kids running around the house. I'm now talking about grown-up addicts, grown-up adults, who by all means should be taking care of their own financial issues and all other aspects of their lives. But they are still living with you. They are still drinking and coming home and eating and sleeping at your place. These are grown adults, often with very manipulative and narcissistic attitudes where everything should revolve around them, but you continue to host them. These addicts cannot see how their actions affect everyone else in the house, but you as a parent should be able to see the effect it is having on everyone else, including the siblings. Why should the addict's siblings have to revolve their lives upon the mood swings of the addict? Why should their enjoyment of life in their parents' houses, their joy, peace, happiness, be dependent upon the addict? They will be resentful. I repeat, you did not cause this addiction, but the way you are handling it could be further fueling it. I have said that addicts can be narcissists. Yes. But I also need to point out that sometimes it is the caregivers who are the narcissists. Because of their unreasonably high sense of self-importance, they fear they may lose face in the community if, God forbid, it should be known I have an alcoholic in my house. And so they would rather, by all means, continue to enable the addict and hide the issue behind locked doors. Is it worth to continue suffering in your silence because of what you think society will say? And yet, I can tell you for free that the society already knows and talks about that addict you have put in your house. Is it worth continuing to suffer in your silence? Or do you agree with me that it's time we talked about these issues? Are you in that vicious cycle where because you love and are trying to help, you might even have gotten to that stage where you are terrified that your loved one will die if you don't help? That son, that daughter, that spouse will die if you don't help. You've deluded yourself that it is your job to, quote unquote, save the addict. You have built an entire identity for this purpose, and you have made a lot of you have played a lot of self-sacrificial roles. But nothing, absolutely nothing has changed in the life of the addict. While you, on the other hand, have hypertension, you have heart disease, and you have a myriad other health problems associated with chronic stress because you are constantly stressed, then let me tell you, my friend, you are not helping. You have become nothing more than a codependent. In this whole situation, you are enabling that addict to continue in their addiction. Good, so are we still together? By this point, you're probably wondering to yourself, yes, Solomon, we have heard all that, and maybe we're even guilty of enabling our people and confusing it for love. So what next? Good. Glad you asked. I want to point out one thing to you first. You will never, ever change somebody unless they are willing to change. So one thing that you can do is set boundaries, clear boundaries, and expectations. Put boundaries, very clear-cut, and expectations into this relationship between you and the addict. And be intentional. Not the boundaries that you have set before, where somebody said, oh, I'll stop drinking, tomorrow night they come drunk, you forgive, the next week they come drunk, you forgive. This one, you set clear-cut boundaries and the repercussions for lack of adherence to those boundaries. There must be a very clear goal in what you hope to achieve in this. Now, second thing you should do is say no to financing addiction. You're going to ask, how are you financing addiction? And I'll point out again to you, if you are taking care of their rent, if you are taking care of their food, if you are taking care of their clothing, what are the three basic needs of a human being? Shelter, clothing, and food. And because you have taken care of that, you have removed all responsibility from the addict. What have you left the addict with other than to chase the drug of their choice? Finally, I address you, the addict. Addiction is not an incurable disease. Many have made the choice and walked away from addiction. Help is available. It is up to you to seek that help, and more importantly, embrace the help when it is presented to you. Because change will and must come. Change is inevitable. And there are only three ways how change will come to you, the addict. One, you might be inspired to change. You could listen to me. You could listen to the thousands of other guys who are speaking about addiction. You could read books. You could visit Alcoholics Anonymous. There are, nowadays, even in the counseling profession, there are so many counselors who are giving pro bono services to alcoholics and drug addicts. You could search out those places and be inspired to change. Two, change may come to you through desperation. The world could hit you so hard that you will have to change. You will have no option but to change. That change will come through desperation. But eventually, even if you ignore change through inspiration or desperation, there is the third and final way. The drugs and the alcohol could kill you. And let me tell you something. Those bars that you go to, those drug dens that you go to, those places that you frequent because you think there is this oneness in those places, that is a false sense. It is just that misery loves company, and that is why you are welcomed into those places. They won't even remember you. As soon as the drink or the drugs kill you, they will immediately replace you in those dens even before your cold, diseased body has been put in the earth. Take it from me. Change is worthwhile, and it's the best thing you could do for your life. But ultimately, it's your life. You choose what to do with it.